You're listening to the Unreasonable Fridays Podcast Network.
Go ahead, stand up, stand up, stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up.
Welcome to another episode of ADDSpace. I'm your host, Aaron Ryan Freeman, but the real host is here, the CEO, CFO, the owner and proprietor, lead therapist, head artist, chief architect, narrative design lead, social media manager, turtle wrangler, chief artist, travel czar, at least bacon, honey.
Think you repeated artist thing. Also, I'm not a social media manager anymore. I've barely been on social media.
I didn't say you were a good one. I
Well,
didn't- we didn't qualify this with good or bad or letter grades. You can have a job for 50 years and eventually you're just coming to the office, sitting down and leaving in 6 hours. It can happen like that. And there's no shame in that. Get paid. You don't have to be a cog in the wheel of capitalism. And that's really the moral of the story here. You can be listed as a social media manager and do no social media management because you're fucking free. That's how you resist. That's how you resist capitalism, Bacon. And we're proud of you. We respect that.
okay, that was some beautiful bullshitting that you did there. I would applaud you, but I'm
Resist.
playing Misteria.
Viva la raza, as they say. Other people saying their resistance, that isn't mine, but I guess we're all kind of linking arms. I could throw a little bit in there. But what are you playing?
Fields of Misteria. Misteria. I
Fuck
keep
is that?
wanting to call it Misteria, but like I know that's not correct. But that's just my fried brain being fried. It is a cozy farm dating games, uh, time waster, uh, simulator esque thing. You know, my favorite genre.
Is that like is that like Stardew Valley?
So, you know me, I hate saying like, yes, this game is like Stardew Valley, but it is of the same genre of game as Stardew Valley.
So I think what we need to do, and it's something where I think we need to change the verbiage and the tone, because I get it too. Because what happens is someone goes, well, this is basically Star Fox, and this is basically like Stardew Valley, and they're basically together, and it's just like, basically those two. And it's like downplaying the significance of both of those things inherently in the language. But what I'm saying is sometimes I want to give people we are an audio podcast, so you got to give people they got to put people on visual rails. It is not basically Stardew Valley. It has the visual appearance from a baseline foundationally of Stardew Valley. Now they go in different directions, which you are free to explain, but we're just an audio
Well, I was
show.
about to say, well, kind of, because the art's also different too. It's not the same kind of like pixel art either.
Top-down pixel art Farm City, and that is that I mean by the foundation, but they are different, and we will honor those differences. I understand what you're saying because I don't like it either. But people don't run and Google the names of the games that they hear. I run screaming to Google. It's not Microsoft. That's my relationship with Microsoft Edge on my tablet. Is me running to Google names of.
No, well, like I'm just, the art style's not even the same. But if you want to know, like it is a farming dating game, so it's of the same genre, the same family as Harvest Moon games. I'm sure you've heard of Harvest Moon and Stardew Valley, but the art and the goals of the game are much different.
Hell yeah.
Um so like that's why I'm like I really don't want to call it that because it's not it isn't it's not the same game.
Get in the habit of that. That is the moral of the story now. That is the moral of the show, is to get out of the habit of doing that. And I'm saying people do that all the time where they're like, oh, it's basically this, and they are downplaying it and trying to smash everything into a ball so they can then ignore it. Fuck that. Every game is individually different from each other, even of the same loose genre and foundation. They are
Well,
different. Take
well,
joy
I
in finding how they're
also
different.
Well, I also think there's like, because there are games that are clones of each other, so I get where we get that idea from. Like in order to talk about my war game, I literally say it's a Clash of Clans clone because it is like it it has very little like variation in actual like gameplay. And Clash of Clans does. Like it's like more updated. It's got like more stuff, but like the core basis of the game is the same. I don't think that
Right.
the base of this
And
game is the same.
that's what I mean, is that when you are picking every game, when you're taking every
That
game,
means splitting
it,
hairs.
no, when you are taking every game as an individual piece of art or trying to, right? Even if you fail. Um when a game is in fact a clone of another game, you can then say it, because then when you say this is basically like this and everyone says that about everything, then nothing means anything. But really, if there is a game like Hexen, for not Hexen, Heretic is a literal Doom clone that's using the same type of enemies and textures and level editor to make a game. So it's like a Doom clone. In the rare case, it's a Doom. It's like Doom. Feels like Doom. Hexen doesn't. Heretic does. It's important to note the difference so that when you say something like that, it means something. It means
Yes.
something. So yes, you should always split the hairs. So when you do encounter a clone, it's an impactful descriptor. Yes, I fully support this.
I'm just trying to be accurate.
Split the hairs. No, it's a good habit we get into. It's very much, and I understand we are encumbered as a society. We are buried under misfortune. We are fully in late stage capitalism, which is like being in an ankle lock just everywhere you go, just hopping around on one leg with somebody pulling on the other leg. I get it. But we still have to put forth the effort to acknowledge the art, because this is kind of how we allow art to get put in the wood chipper. You want to know why we're so okay with one of the reasons why we're so okay with, like, for example, AI scraping art from every living artist, is because we talk about art in this homogenous way, desperately trying to squeeze it into a larger gray ball of nonsense. I'm just saying. So I like the splitting of the hairs. If you hear it, you should do it too. If you're listening, split more hairs. It's how we keep art alive, each in our own individual way.
Just, just want to critique things properly.
Yes, you should. You should want to critique things properly all the time, as much as possible. It's how we respect art. I maintain that. That is how we respect and preserve art. We are not capable of launching armed resistance, massive marches. We're not into it, but just in our own little way, keeping art individual in our minds. So, how is it different? What are you
Uh
enjoying about this game? It's in 1.0, I know that.
yeah, so it's been in early access for quite a long time. I had seen like pictures of it on social media. I was like, "Oh, this looks cute." I'll wait for it to be a little bit more, like a little more complete, and then I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Cuz when I'm in school, I have a tendency, my anxiety gets really really bad. So, and I'm very ADHD, so I need to have like a clicky game or something that's kind of like soothing-esque to look at or engage with, so I don't lose my fucking shit,
Hell yeah.
as the kids say these days. But I'm 40 now. Oh my god.
Happy birthday,
Um
you're 40 years old.
I'm officially 40,
40 years old.
crying.
Are you crying? You
Um
look fantastic. Skin's flawless. You have the
I
bright, angry eyes of a properly well realized African American. It's sensational.
had that for years.
I know. It's great. It gets better with age.
My
Go on.
God. Anyway, Aaron is on his shit. Um, so yeah, and I saw that there was going to be the 1.0 update, and I really didn't want to have like a lot of dialogue because like I'm trying to read papers and I listen to them, and if my brain's not working, or and read my textbooks, and if my brain's not working, I need to be able to like actually focus on what I'm listening to. So I
Right.
needed it to be text light. That was a mistake. It's only a little text light in the beginning, but it was perfect enough time for me to finish my classes because I was in my last 2 weeks. And I saw 1.0 was coming out in early August. It came out like August 9th. And so I decided to get it, and it's been really charming. It's been very enjoyable. So, um, the whole farming, like the whole farming simulator dating games stuff aren't really some of them do lend more towards like productivity simulation, if
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense.
Right.
But not all of them do. That's not the point of all of them. Some of them more heavily emphasize the dating. Some of them have like a really well-rounded lots of the games in that genre, like I said, Harvest Moon, um Story of Seasons, which is by the uh used to make Harvest Moon games, but the studio and the publisher separated, so now the publisher owns Harvest Moon. So
Right.
if you like the old Harvest Moon games, you'll like the Story of Seasons ones.
Okay.
Also Rune Factory, which is the last one of these, I got really fucking obsessed with. I live for Rune Factory. That one emphasizes combat more than farming. And the latest Rune Factory has like a really solid storyline. Like that one's more storyline heavy, and storyline heavy, combat heavy, more boss fighting than it
Right.
is actual farming. And also building up your cities. Like you actually build up towns in that one, and I really enjoyed that.
We should do this, by the way. Like, I think that we should have a list of clicky games for our ADHD for our ADHD
Yeah.
buddies, so that they can have a list of things. There's a lot of game. I think if you a lot of games you might not know, like, you know what I mean. That you might not having more people talking about the texture and feel of a game and how it helps you get through your day is almost as more important than how it plays. You know what I
Well,
mean, to a certain degree.
yeah, well, that's why I like cozy games of that genre because like I get like my brain runs hot like an engine that's just been going too long, or like if you have your laptop and your laptop's running like too much stuff and then it overheats and it's like a bitch, we're shutting down. So like my brain like it gets so bad. So like having just something like with like calming music, and something that I can just like I there's like tasks in the game I can just like ambiently do. Funny enough, Harvestella, very good. Also the music is like amazing. I can sometimes I'll just put on the Harvestella music, to be honest. Because it's so soothing. Um Palia is the that cozy MMO that I really like. I really like cozy games, as you can see. So for me, it's clicky, it's cozy for, and there's like certain stuff for that like works specifically for me and what I'm doing. So this game is really friendly. Like it very much is designed as a you can play however you want it. Um a lot of times, like, because like in the game too, you're supposed to ship stuff, you're supposed to get money, right? You're supposed to build up money, and then building up money lets you unlock certain stuff, like lets you buy more animals, lets you do upgrades. So you actually want to have like some amount of like capital coming in, right? But in a lot of these there's like clear meta ways that you need to build money. So you either need to like go really into farming, be like a farm baron, or get in Stardew Valley, fishing is very good money early game. Um this game, there's a lot of different there's like a lot of different avenues, and there's a lot of different collectibles. So there's actually a whole archaeology thing where you're digging up artifacts.
Mhm.
So artifacts are a great way of money. Fishing is a great way of money. Again, you can go into the mines and mine things like gems, and you can craft uh ingots and stuff out of that, and that's a good source of money. Like every sort of foraging, actually foraging is a very legitimate good source of money in this game, and foraging is all year round, and there's a lot of it. There's a lot of foraging is you go out and be like, oh look, there's some berries, and you pick them.
Okay. Um,
So
I always want to
yeah.
call it Tales of Misteria. Like it's very hard to not call it Tales of Misteria, even though it's Mistria and I read it like it's underneath your
Yeah, no,
door.
I do the same thing. I'm just like
I
and
realize
of course
we're just old and black. I realize we're just old and black gamers, and we just have to concede that we will not be naming our games correctly. Um, yeah, we just won't be. I'm sorry. Um, I still don't know this. I still don't know the actual like sub name of like Bloodstained. Like Erica started calling Curse of the Osiris Blood Moon, and that's what I have retained. So I just call it Curse of Osiris, even though that's not what Bloodstained is. Like I don't know what it's called anymore. For example. So we might just need to we just might need to concede that it's Tales of Mysteria. And
no, we have to be
we
proper because we're talking
are
about it as a review. It's Fields of Mystria.
also old and black. We will get we will talk about the distinct nuances that separate it from other members of its genre in incredible detail for 30 uninterrupted minutes until Amazon buys this podcast. And then we will name it Tales of Mysteria without blinking because we can't get everything right. We're limited by our humanity, Bacon. I'm sorry. I'm just letting you know that as we go into the weeds about why this particular farming game is cozy and why it's cozier or more different than feels different than other games, it's going to be Tales of Mysteria. I apologize in advance for my old blackness. I do. I do.
In any case, this game um really diversifies like the different ways that you can play, so you can just play it in any way that you really want. You don't have to farm, you don't have to have animals. Oh good, I got another warm rock. um it's very important. I have to give a rock to one of the characters. We love him so much. uh one of the characters really loves rocks, just really really loves rocks, and I would feel bad if I found a rock and it literally even says it's a rock and I don't give him one. I would feel terrible. um but yeah, so with this game too, there's a lot of writing around the characters and around the little town that you're in. And some of it is my favorite sort of way, where it's ambient storytelling, where you actually find out more about the town by clicking things. I'm really feeling rewarded in this game by clicking things. So, like, you'll walk around the town and you'll click on, like, stuff in the building. So, like, somebody's bookshelves, and it'll say, like, this is what's on here. And it'll talk about, like, really talk about like the likes on stuff, and you can find out tidbits of information about not just characters but about the town by doing that. Also, the characters themselves just tell you things, and um usually in these games there's only like each character only says one thing a day, so you talk to them and you can't really talk to them again. um
As a tourist, I deeply respect that. Like, damn, you
well,
can't ask me no more shit for 24 hours. That's crazy, bro. That's
I
great.
hate it because, like, that's
Weird.
not how people operate.
Yeah,
Like, people
that's
talk
not
to each other multiple.
that's how we
Well,
can operate. That's how I
well,
can
I
operate.
mean,
Let me know.
some characters will be very Torian and they'll be like, "I'm really busy right now," and I'm like, "You right, motherfucker."
Yeah, bro, I'll be out
Um,
there early too, waiting for somebody to talk to me, so I ain't gotta talk to nobody no more. I'll be out there 6:45 in the morning, bro. 7:15, ask me what you gotta ask me, and I'm back in by 7:45. Hell yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, no,
please
I hate
continue.
it. So they have what like the way I call it is like I'm calling it scene changes. So they actually have a dialogue for like every scene change. So if you talk to a character in the morning, they'll say something about the morning or in relation to some an event that happened. So like if there was a festival, they'll talk about the festival that just happened, or if there was like an unlock that you just did, they'll say like, "Hey, you did great work on that," or "I'm excited for this. This is really cool." Um or they'll be like, "I'm on my way to somewhere, don't talk to me." And there you go, Aaron.
Don't talk to me.
Or and then there's like you can also talk to them when they're going from point A to point B. There will be another time to of dialogue. So, a passing a person in conversation. There's another dialogue option when they are at their destination, their B destination. So there's one dialogue there at that B at destination. If there's like a lunchtime thing, you can talk to them around lunchtime. If there's like, it's getting late, it like the day is closing, there's more dialogue there. There's also if the characters get together in a group, they're having a group discussion and you can listen to the group discussion. They're not talking to you, they're talking to each other, and you can like if you go to talk to them, you just hear their conversation. Like, you walk up on people. So it makes like that sort of thing like makes like the town feel more populated, like more alive, like more but more like more immersive.
Mhm.
And so that's something I personally really like. And like I said, like the characters will tell you things. They'll be like, "Oh, hey, so um, Josephine really loves her tea." Hemlock, Josephine's husband, will like tell you that that Josephine likes tea and he tries to get like different tea from the capital. So as a gift for her. Which then tells you that you can give Josephine tea as a gift, right?
I like that.
Yeah,
And
so
two,
they'll tell you, and it's not like it's not random. It doesn't feel arbitrary. Like I mean, it doesn't feel like pointed as in like, hey, guess what? So and so likes this. It feels like more natural in a conversation. So there's not really like, and like the cost of things in the game, like the upgrades isn't super high. Like it's not low, but it's also not high, so it doesn't feel like you're money grinding forever. It's very appropriate with each phase of the game that you're in. So it's like this game was meant to not feel grindy, but to feel like more approachable.
I like that. So
Yeah.
here's a new one, right? Here's because I'm gonna I'm getting to a point here. What are the activities that you are doing while you are playing this particular cozy game?
So it depends on what my goal is for the time. So like right now I just started a new day. I pick up my cat. My cat I made look like my previous cat Dynamite. And I gave her a blue bow. There's animal cosmetics, which is super great. I would check on my animals, but right now my animals are in daycare because I'm upgrading their coop and the barn. So they're being taken care of for free, by the way. Like it doesn't cost anything, which again is why I said this game's very approachable, where I can just put like all of my fucking animals in daycare, right?
Hmm.
And I'm not spending any currency for that. It's just a free service because like I'm trying to do stuff and I can't take care of my animals right now. Um Also, Hayden is the character who, runs the ranch, and he's a dateable, and he's lovely. His character is so cute. He's just a sweet country boy. Oh, yeah, also, this game is clearly very, like, queer friendly, and, the characters themselves are also very diverse, like, all skin tones. there's like this adorable black family with the babies who I absolutely love.
Mhm.
Maple and Luke, I was telling you about them. Luke is a little entomologist, a little nerd, and he's got his little glasses and a perfect fade. And Maple has braids, like has box braids, and she goes around saying, I'm Queen Maple. And she's very into like politics. That's the thing too. The children are written like children. So like when like Maple was asking somebody asking like basically like almost the mayor, she's like the town administrator, was asking Adeline about how leadership is, etc. And she's just like, okay, but when do we get into machinations against other fiefdoms? And she asked her older sister Raina to read her books on politics.
I love this quite a bit.
I know. And like Luke collects bugs, but he knows everything about bugs. Every fucking thing about bugs. So after I check my animals, I would, I check my plants, I got to water my plants. I set out stuff for shipping. I organize my inventories because every single day of my inventory becomes a mess. Lots of collecting. It's a collecting game. Pick up stuff, got to collect. Some things become gifts for villagers. Some of them get donated to the museum. Some of them get sold. Some of them I need to store for like upgrades and things and crafting because there's like actually a pretty intensive crafting. Um, with housing decor, you can like really decorate your house in a way that I find it's pretty expansive to me. It could still use some work, like some items can't be rotated, but others can. But I feel like that's something that's gonna get fleshed out even more later. So like the decorating system as is right now is pretty impressive. And it was like Stardew Valley didn't have that sort of thing like for a very long time. And this game kind of has it like coming out of the gate.
Okay. So you would say that it's more granular. Like in the genre, like is it more granular than its contemporaries? You know what I mean? Like, because I'm saying is, I'm a big proponent of games that you can play as an adult versus the games you want to play as an adult. You know, like we always hear the joke about if I got home, I turn my Xbox on, I'm gonna play like fucking Star Wars Jedi Survivor or some other 60-hour game with a sandbox, and then you fall asleep 2 minutes in. And that's because there are games that you can actually play based on the time you have, games that'll give you something for 10 minutes or something that you can play while you're getting ready for bed, or that's something you can play while you're,
Yeah,
whatever it
you
is
you
you're
you
doing.
can play. You can definitely play this in bite-sized pieces, but I also fall under I think it also falls under the one more turn trap
Right. But
because there's in-game days,
right.
and so you're like, okay, I'm just gonna do one day.
Right. That's what I mean is that's a game that is the parameter, like the just like the loose infrastructure of a game that you can play. Like you can play for some games. Like I realized that some sandbox games, like I was playing Chronos. I really like Chronos, by the way. And sometimes you play it and you're like, oh, I only have 45 minutes. I can't do anything in this game that's meaningful in 45 minutes without getting caught up for 2 hours. And that happens a lot. A lot of major game releases that we buy are like that. They run the risk of you, first of all, requiring 45 minutes to get anything out of them, and then possibly unlocking an additional 45 minutes of intrigue. You can't afford either. So a game where you can put in a day and then be like, at least my character and I are both going to bed. You know what I mean? Like that type of this is, you know what I mean? Like a game
Yeah,
that you
well,
can.
this one does like you have to go back to your house, but back at your house there is the ability to save, so
Right.
you can
How long is a
like
day? How
save
long is
at
a
any
day?
time.
How long is a day?
Uh I don't know how to do the math on that. I'm not a math gay.
You gotta, you can ballpark it. You can be wrong.
I really can't. Like
You
I don't pay attention to it.
I need you to give me any time at all.
No,
Anytime.
I really no, Aaron, I really don't know. Like I don't look at the clock at all. I can tell you that the time in game is from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Mm,
and your character automatically falls asleep at 2 a.m. and that each minute in the game day is a second.
okay. Each minute in the game day is second 24. I'm gonna do the
It's
mathematics.
yeah, I'm like I can't do that. How many hours is 6 a.m. to 2 p.m.? I mean, sorry, 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. and then convert that, and then take the amount of seconds and then convert the seconds into hours or minutes.
You said 1 minute.
Every s- every
45
every
minutes.
1 minute in game is a second in real life.
Okay. It's about 46 minutes. Anyway, the day is about 46 minutes to 45, 46 minutes, 50 minutes. So there you go.
Yeah,
That's
I'm like I'm not mathing.
Oh no, I know you fled. I understand. You understand you even fled the opportunity to say something random. Like you understand you're so little of a math gay that you fled the I was like,
Yeah,
just
I was just like I am
you
not approximating this.
you can
Like, well,
call me
sometimes,
any number and you were like, abs you fled the premises. This is how people
well,
get arrested. This is how people
sometimes
get arrested.
sometimes I can sometimes I can do like a guesstimate because I pay attention to how long I play the game. I'm not paying any attention to real life time whatso fucking ever at all right now because uh stuff with my disability has gone like haywire kind of. Well, I can't say haywire. It's I know what's going on more now with like what's going like I know what's going on more with my health better than I have in my life, but it's also like everything's flipped. Everything's topsy turvy. So like I am genuinely not paying attention at all to time. I am focusing entirely on what my body needs in any given point like any minute. So like I have erased my care for time.
Um that in and of itself is very helpful. Again, what do we like what can you play this game when you have medical issues? You know,
Yeah,
and
I
these are
so
like
it's
logistics.
only on Steam right now, but I've got a laptop, so I literally just like laid down, have my laptop like on my stomach because I've got like one of those little lap desk things, and I'll just like
Mhm,
rest it on top of my stomach, and I've got a controller. Fully controller friendly, or you can do mouse and keyboard. It's fine.
mhm.
However you want to play is fine. And it's got support for all the major controllers: Steam, Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation. Um, uh, and I just play there. I woke up this morning to like my to the game paused and me just like laying there. It's a good thing my laptop didn't fall. Maybe I had memories of like my cat because I didn't move in my sleep at all with my cat. And I move in my sleep, but when I had a cat, I did not move in my sleep at all. It's like I knew.
Well, yeah, no, that is a rousing introduction to Tales of Mysteria.
Yeah, I
Tales, doesn't matter. Mysteria.
Fields of Mystria. But I will, there is another point I wanted to make too because I thought it was really important. There are elders, like characters who are elders in the game,
Mhm.
but they're written by somebody who knows what an elder in a community is.
Really?
Yeah, so like they are respected elders in the community and they're always giving advice. They're also always helping you. They tell stories. like meaningful stories like about the town. The town has a lot of stories. The town actually that is a huge thing and what I find very different in the genre. I think Coral Island is the only other one I've seen where I've actually like really felt this. I think some other games try to emulate it, but I feel like this one really caught it. Is that they really tried to write the town as a community, like a community how you and I think of community.
Right.
Like, it's not just a bunch of people who live together in the same town, like, they interact with each other. There is, like, the Friday night, like, at the inn, but everybody is talking to each other. There's a legally distinct D&D game with rotating characters.
And you
Like, different NPCs will, like when a campaign ends, another NPC will take it over, and there's, like, other people who are playing it. There's poker on another table, so there's, like, multiple, like, in stories. It's not just you go in there and there are people hanging out.
I always think it's funny because you mentioned elders in the community, and a lot of times what you'll get are if the elders are written by young people, the elders will be just mostly about to die or worried about some terminal illness. Like elders are not, they're not decrepit. You know what I mean? Like they do stuff
No!
in the community. They're very lively no matter what, and more lively than you are willing to give them credit for, unless you're very young and then you don't know any better. So the idea that they weren't
No.
elders, like actual,
Yeah,
uh,
no, so, there's a black lady with a lovely, gray afro, and she's a sailor. She used to be a sailor. And she's the one who gives you the fishing rod and any like she's like, by the way, and she runs the fishing shop and teaches you about bait. But like she also tells like stories of when she was a sailor and there's different tidbits and I'm like, "Ma'am, you did what?" And some of it I'm like, "That's a little bit of piracy over there." But no, she has like the craziest stories. She's so funny. Oh yeah, her name's Tarithia. I love her. And then there's Landon. Landon actually is Rias, who's a dateable. Uh Landon is Rias's uncle, and he used to run the carpentry shop. Now Rias runs it, but Landon's retired. But he's like, even though he's retired, he's like, listen, I may be retired and old, but I can still help out. I still know stuff. And there's like, there's cutscenes too that where it shows like, you know, him and Landon bonding over like carpentry stuff. Like you find out at one point that they bonded over reading like a textbook manual for a house, for like a building, like an architectural manual.
right.
And so like even like during like because there had also been like an earthquake and that damaged the town, right? But like even when you're helping fix things from the earthquake damage, like the elders will come and be like, move over, young one, and like, you know, help build the thing. um then you have Elsie. Elsie is the one who teaches you how to date, and Elsie has wild stories. Great Aunt Elsie was clearly
Oh, I
like
love
the belle of high society in the capital.
sexy elder stories. We love to hear them.
Yeah, no, actually, like one of her stories is, talking about a former lover of hers who was a lady, and was just like, and she left me roses the next morning without even saying anything. Can you believe it?
Okay, that's salacious. Yeah, she just
Yeah, no,
okay, that's salacious as
and
hell.
I and I can't she was talking about another thing, and she was talking about another person. I can't remember exactly what it related to right now because it actually related to like something else that we were talking about. And she was like, "But we were too busy canoodling that I never thought to ask."
Ooh,
Oh yeah, she
canoodle.
said she dated a sorcerer once, but they were too busy canoodling that she didn't bother to figure out if he actually was a sorcerer.
Mm, mm. That's what I mean. I love elder stories. The sexy elder
Yeah,
stories are the best stories.
Yeah, she's got so many elder stories, and like they're definitely salacious. And like I said, she teaches you how to date, and she also encourages you to date multiple characters. Actually, and because like you could date multiple characters, you can only marry one. But she's like, before you marry, you should date. You should examine around.
I mean,
And she
she's
makes
not wrong.
comments as like if you get multiple partners, she starts making comments about your multiple partners. She's so funny.
I like this. All right. The this tale, you know what? Field
Fields of
of
Fields of
Mystery
Mystery.
is available on Steam only, right? Is it Steam only?
Yeah, it's Steam only right now.
Okay, how much did it run you?
I think it was like $14. I don't remember. They
Oh,
did say
okay.
that
It's
they
affordable.
did say that they're not gonna raise the price though after early access was done.
Okay, so it's affordable. Let's say 14.99 is a
Yeah,
ballpark.
this is one of those games where I would get it earlier than later because I do feel like later the price will go up.
Mm. Oh,
Um, but I also would pay more for this game.
okay. This makes sense.
It's so charming. It's such a charming game.
As I was looking for, I was reminded. I got like a a wall of inspiration because my console told me Madden was available because I fucking care. And then I was like, oh right, Madden. I wonder if any of the ball and gun guys care that Saudi Arabia has purchased EA. And then you look and absolutely none. And I'm like, EA, I think Saudi Arabia purchasing EA is actually really savvy because 0% of that audience gives a shit that you own EA. Like there are certain things they can purchase and then everyone will be like, what are you doing here? Electronic Arts is not one of those places.
EA is not one of those places at all. EA's got the worst reputation, which is so funny to me because EA is not any better or worse than any of these other companies. And I'm not saying that in like an EA defense either. I'm just saying everybody sucks.
Everyone sucks.
E-
EA
ev-
specializes in not making art, and as a result, their audience there are very few artists in the audience. So if you depending on who you are, like say if they bought Capcom, that would cause a problem because Capcom makes art. They do business, but they make art, and there'd be enough people that it would cause a stir. You know what I mean? So what do you mean?
I understand. I understand this is an example. I'm like, can they buy Capcom?
I don't think they would be allowed to. Like the Capcom wouldn't
Yeah,
let
I
them.
was about to say I
Oh,
don't
no.
know
Oh
how
no,
I
no,
don't know
Capcom.
how I don't
I'm
how
talking
I
about
don't know how acquisitions work in Japan.
Oh no, I don't think. I yeah. But just like for example's sake, is the audience is a certain amount of artistry that the audience expects, and when you have an audience like that, then they're a little more aware of the product. So, them owning EA is just chef's kiss. What is it? Affinity Group? It's called. Or was it 55 billion? Led by Jared Kushner, son-in-law of our esteemed
So
president.
did they buy out the shares? Is that how they was this
Yeah, yeah.
okay, so this was a takeover. This isn't actually an this isn't a we EA sold willingly to Jared Kushner and Saudi. This is okay. I just wanted to know what kind of like to me it does matter how something gets bought, you know? Um Okay, so the studios they have BioWare. Um they have Codemasters who I believe do racing
I
games.
do racing games.
They do Criterion. Um
Oh yeah, they do the Star Wars games, right? They do there are
uh
two Star Wars games coming out from EA.
well, Criterion does Need for Speed, Battlefield,
It did used to do
um
Burnout, but that's neither here nor there. It does
and
Battle.
they do Burnout. I think Burnout might come back though.
Probably not. There
Well,
is
I think it was going to come back.
the
And then we
popular
have
the pod racing game that's coming out is very Burnout. So like the spiritual successor of the Burnout is a Star Wars game for EA. It's not gonna be bad. I actually do want to play it, but yeah, that's kind of the situation. Please go on.
And then we have Dice, which is Battlefield, Battlefront, Mirror's Edge. I think isn't there a new one coming out?
No, I never gonna see Mirror's Edge again.
That was such a good game.
Oh, it was superb.
Fucking superb.
That was when EA was being very experimental. I believe it was Dead Space, Mirror's Edge, and I think Army of Two came out of EA being like, "We're gonna make video games." And
Army
yeah,
of Two is so bad. I don't care what nobody says.
it wasn't. Yeah.
You were about to argue, and then you're like,
I
"I
mean,
enjoyed my."
I mean,
You can enjoy
so
yourself.
I'm gonna be honest with you. This is a thing where I think Army of Two, all of them have been garbage, right? I think they play stupidly. I think the stories are stupid. I think the two white dudes shooting people is stupid. I think the music is dumb. I think the fist bumping is stupid. However, it's brought so much joy to so many bros for so
No,
long
it
growing up.
is not a good game, but
I have to.
it is the bro game that
I,
you can bro with your bro.
and I understand that, and I kind of have softened my stance on it because when I saw it, I was like, "This play is like trash. What are you guys doing?" And then my boys would be in the
They're
room,
having a bro relationship.
and I'm like, "All right, obviously, I'm missing something." And
No,
the
no, no, no,
disparity
no.
in opinion is so massive that I have to qualify what I'm saying. Like, obviously, I had to disqualify myself because I'm super biased in a way that I can't fathom because I don't enjoy this at
No,
all.
no, that's because you're not a bro. But as somebody who has a good, healthy appreciation for the bros who are not assholes, the golden bros, how this is their game that they use to spend quality time with each other. This is their we're playing this together, bro, instead of going out and having the beers and harassing women, but they're good bros, so they wouldn't do that anyway. This is their game, Aaron. This is their relationship game.
Yeah, that game felt horrible to play. The aiming was off.
It's awful.
The aiming was off.
Oh my
The
god.
movement was terrible. The combat design,
Oh god, the
the
movement
arenas,
is
the
so bad.
stories. It was
This
so bad. It was
the story
awful.
is so vapid, but you can
Horrid.
high five and fist bump.
They even had that thing where you can go back to back and just start pivoting through guys, and I think
Yes.
back to back, and then just lock in, and going, butt cheek to butt cheek, like bros, and
Yes.
kill all the terrorists. That was trash. God damn it! That's why I wasn't about to argue. I was about to agree so vehemently, so passionately that I had to think out of myself to be decent about Army of Two and its wild contributions to the bro community. Healthy contributions.
Actually healthy contributions. Terrible game.
Terrible fucking game. Hated that shit.
Terrible game.
Hate that game.
Healthy contributions.
Shout outs to the bros. Hope you guys are still together. Whatever the bros are. I hope you're somewhere in real life, butt cheek to butt cheek, living your best bro lives together. All right. All right. So what else is EA? Oh, we have to keep. We cannot get hung up on bro cheeks. Now, please, we have to continue talking about EA and how it's in a unique position for this all to work.
They're terrible baseball games, which they never aren't really going anywhere. That's by the Metalhead Studios. That studio's going. That studio's not gonna be under EA anymore.
About
The Sims, Maxis. I don't care what nobody says. Maxis Studios are awful. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, this is EA. This is EA," and I'm like, "No, this is Maxis. Maxis is a terrible studio." But also, Maxis gave us The Sims and like SimCity, etc. Sim 4 is the big one. That's all Maxis. Fuck Maxis forever. Maxis was not better before they got acquired by EA. There was a reason they got acquired by EA. and they continue. Of course, then there's EA Sports, which is frontlined by their, I believe it's frontlined by their Korean studio. Um
It's Pop Gap. They own Pop Gap with the like Plants vs Zombies and stuff like that. The phone games, mobile games.
yes, that's their mobile gaming division.
Yeah, there's not a lot of art here. So it's like you are in this situation where you get to have a big foot in the gaming industry, and because of the boot you're wearing, you won't get a lot of pushback.
So outside of the games that, like, outside of the big ones that we listed, they have like a bunch of like little smaller ones that aren't really doing anything.
Mhm.
So, there's like another company, which is like another studio, which is Slingshot, but that one's working on the off brand games. So they're working on Plants vs Zombies. They're also working on a racing game. They're working on an off brand Need for Speed, a free to play Sims game. So they've got like some small shit too, and I feel like actually some of the smaller studios are just gonna get
Dissolve.
uh dissolved and shoved into the larger ones, and then they'll have those work on smaller projects.
Yeah, I mean, if they make it, it just seems like there's gonna be a
There's gonna
absolute
be some massive consolidating happening.
massive layoffs.
Yeah, there's gonna be some. I'm gonna use the corporate word. There's gonna be a lot of consolidating.
I refuse to use the word consolidate. I refuse.
So, well, the reason why I'm using that is because some of the studios they have listed aren't studios, they're middle management. It's just an entire division that's middle management. And guess who's losing their jobs the most right now?
Yeah.
Cuz so the way it's working right now is that like you need producers. You can't get rid of all of your producers. Then you have nothing to produce, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do you really need that many managers?
I mean,
And the managers have higher salaries. So that's part of some of these layoffs too with the brain drain is that they're looking at who makes the most money and do we really need them? In which I say, look, hello CEO, do we really need you? But that's neither here nor there.
oh yeah, I forgot they own also Respawn, which handled the Apex and the Star Wars
Yes.
Survivor games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean those games don't make money.
No, no.
Yeah, they have a lot of these little like I don't want to call it bullshit, but they have a lot of these like little just
It's it's such an
like
interesting thing what that term means because like so if you make a single player game and it sells 6 million units, it didn't make any money. Like it didn't necessarily do what you wanted it to do. But your mobile game would have, or like your live service yearly sports game would have. And if it was a sweet spot where we were acknowledging the fact that your live service sports game and your single player third person adventure game are going to be graded differently in terms of success, and we've lost the thread on that. So now it's like everything a corporation generates must be like somewhere hovering in that Roblox territory, or it's of no value to them.
well, like it's clear that some of these are just cash grabs, right?
Right.
Yeah, some of these are not grabbing the cash though. The
That's what
cash
I
grabs
mean.
are not. Yeah, the cash grabs aren't grabbing the cash. And I think that's just not knowing how to make a proper cash grab cuz like you actually do got to put a little effort in.
So it's funny. So as a thought, the cash grab has evolved to the point where it's become the almost too expensive. Like there used to be Star Wars games that were terrible and they were cash grabs, and then we kind of got hip to them. So then it became a requirement to make a real Star Wars game with effort put into it. But now it's so expensive, and because the goalposts have flown into outer space, that now we finally have the proper Like Jedi Survivor, one of the greatest cash grabs of all time. By definition, it's a Star Wars game where you play as a Jedi. They want your money. Here's a thing you like. They're showing a little leg, flashing a little titty. What you want to see, but now it sells 4, 5, 6 million copies, and it doesn't matter. Like we've gone full circle where the cash grabs, some of the cash grabs are really meaningfully pieces of art based on something that we
No,
value.
oh no. Cash grabs, I'm saying, are like mobile games. So you have to like the art's got to be designed like
Oh no, that's what I'm saying is that the original cash grab was the LJN Ocean licensed game. It's come full circle to where those games are now artistic endeavors. The cash grab games are
oh
now mobile games. So now that we finally have the perfect original cash grab, like the great grandchild of the LJN terrible $60 horribly designed Star Wars game is now an amazing third person adventure game, and now that is of no value. Finally, when they get it right, it's of no value because we just want something like Roblox or a mobile game. They just want something like
yes.
Roblox just in
Yes,
time
it's a
for it to be
huge
designed.
well, that's just it. It's just a huge misunderstanding of the audience. Like you have to like it's like what I was saying with Blizzard. Blizzard never left 2010. Y'all need to move. You have to have to know what the current market looks like. You have to like know the current spending habits and the lifestyles of the existing people today.
Yeah,
And I think some of these bitches are not very good at that.
yeah.
You hear what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
like, some of these companies are stuck. They're stuck in the past.
yeah.
And
Uh,
they're also like they're also trying to like do something that I find really annoying, but I swear to God, every fucking person does this. So like every business does this at some point. So like I'm not even blaming. I'm not even like I'm more like instead of like paying attention to like what works, right? They're like, okay, we see that this is going, right? Like this is catching. So we're going to try to copy it in like some way, but they're not really understanding the why it works, why it's popular. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
So, but then again, that's like where I was having that earlier conversation with you where you have like two things are happening at the same time, right? Games are an art form, right? Games are art.
Right,
Uh So you have, but the tech industry at large does not value art.
right.
So, and a thing that people forget is like the gaming industry is part of the tech industry. So
Yeah,
you have a combination of does not value art with a literal art form.
yeah. It shows. Really fuck.
Yeah. So and there's just such this you know when you like Hollywood decides to take a movie or an anime from Japan and Japan has like a very specific narrative, like there's very specific narrative styles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's specific story beats, and then they bring it over to the US and they like try to like make it more quote approachable, like make it appeal more to people from the US, and it's always worse.
Yes.
It's because they're not actually understanding what the messaging is and why it resonates with people.
Yeah.
And they're not understanding how to make a similar message resonate from like our experiences as US citizens. Like they can't translate it in a way that actually is something that we would value or would resonate with like people who live here. Be- and they also don't know what would resonate with people who live here.
Um.
Now, the stories that do resonate with people who live here, like who are they by?
Yeah. It's hard to have a story that resonates with all of Americans in mass anymore because.
Well, even like smaller groups, right? Like not even like it's just like sometimes I think they try to appeal to like a broader audience instead of trying to tell a specific story.
Mm,
So
y-
like if you look at the movies that are created right now, who and that have like messages that like really resonate with like a lot of people, who's creating them?
Hmm.
Who are the people who are creating them? And like what messages are they trying to do, and are they even trying to make a message that appeals to everybody, or are they trying, or is there a message that they personally are trying to convey? Because usually it's something that I think they are trying to convey,
Right. It's
because
a
it's a passion project, it's art.
right smaller audience. You're aiming for a smaller group, and you just so happen to hit everybody by accident. And
Mhm.
right,
Like
uh,
sad French game.
XCS sad French game, which it caught everyone. It was a French game to French people about grief, but at a time when everyone is grieving. So then everyone is just weeping, and nobody does grief like the French. So then everyone just latched on to the industry leader in grief at the beginning.
I I mean, France was very Catholic for a very long time.
So yeah,
Sorry, I
that's
had to
very
throw that in there. There's been a lot of religious jokes lately. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, so, like,
actually
Expedition 33.
yeah, actually a lot of stories about loss, about processing grief have actually become very popular with everyone, but they're never told by American white people. Like even like Sinners is a story about grief. It's not
Yes,
an entire
but
story.
who's
It's
it by?
about black folks by black folks. Yeah,
Yes!
no, I
And
understand.
what kind of grief? Yeah, exactly, so that's kinda what I'm saying is, even with these games that are, like, high art, like, they're trying to monetize art, but they're forgetting that it's fucking art.
Yeah, can you? It's a random aside, but can you believe how many live service games they came out in a time where we were playing our best games and our favorite movies were about grief as we were holding each other trying to recover from the pandemic we never recovered from because we don't talk about, and then having generally the downturn of society and having loving the art that reflects it, and then here comes like EA and Sony and everybody trying to make live service team-based shooters.
I'm
like
like, "No one wants that right now, what are you doing?"
it's like the chuds were like there are too many brown people here, but really, and because they're disconnected from their emotions, they're not going to say it, but it's like, what does this have to do with grief? What does this free to play live service team squad shooter have to do with fucking grief? I'm sad, bro. I'm sad, bro.
Yes,
I
it's,
lost my buddy I used to play Army of Two with. He lost his job. He can't visit. We can't touch butt cheeks anymore. I'm sad, bro. Yeah, free to play hero shooter. Guy with the fucking Killmonger haircut. I'm tired of this shit. But anyway, yeah. Now that you're saying it, I
and
think
yeah,
that's
if you look at, like, the game some of the games that did really well during the pandemic, you have what? You have Animal Crossing.
right.
Oh,
Community games during the pandemic, grief games about grief after the pandemic. Man, they're really out of touch. Holy shit! The games they were trying to hand us, and the bigots were so out of touch they couldn't use their words. They're just like women and Negroes, no homosexuals. Good God, no
and
homos. But that's not what they
everybody's
were.
like, "I'm in desperate need of therapy and don't have it and don't have
Yeah,
it." Like, even, like, okay, so, like, yeah, God of War Ragnarok.
and the funny thing is like I said, there were so many people that got their life from that man growing as a person and learning to love his fan and learning to developing his relationship with his son to the point where now his son can be his own man and he can process the grief of he can process the loss of his wife who is currently in the god
Who
afterlife
has done no healing and no
beating
work,
ass, currently beating ass in the afterlife right now,
trying to get back to her
like to get
family.
back to her family. So, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, no, you're actually right. Yeah, the time they really were out of touch. But it's funny. So I realized I was so busy with my shield up during the culture war that I missed the fact that what made the corporate attempts at getting our attention so tone deaf was because they were missing they were missing the emotions of the time, like wholesale and egregiously. Like aside from, like I said, the people who were the chuds were like, oh, it's too much woke nonsense. But really it was the fact that a lot of folks were grieving, and you were offering us absolute fucking drivel in the face of our grief, when like we were all just wanted to cry with the French game. We were all just crying with the French game. So yeah, it's actually very funny now that I can look back at it. Yeah, they really were like, it was out of touch for a different reason. It wasn't modern gamer discourse. It wasn't gamer gate nonsense. It wasn't big and not. It was the fact that niggas were lonely and sad, and we were playing the games that reflected that. And here you come with absolute fucking nonsense, huh?
Absolute nonsense, Aaron.
Yeah, as they're really out of touch for different reasons, obviously, but very out of touch. Something we need to touch on long term. But yes, I see what you're saying. It's an excellent point. We have come full circle, by the way, because you know who didn't acknowledge the granular differences and timing of each individual piece of art? Corporations. So you know what they gave us in response? Absolute fucking drivel. Um, it caused all types of issues. So, to that point, everyone should granularly spend their time trying to understand each individual piece of art, despite how hard your brain and fatigue might try. You want to mash it together. You in a corporation, you say everybody wants live service games. No, they don't. We came out of a pandemic. We don't have any jobs. We're sad, granddad. We're sad. That's what's going on with us. We're sad and we don't have any money. Can you give us a proper sad game for $25, please? We'll buy 20
Or
million of them.
or even just like a game that like makes you feel connected to other people. I think even if you did like an online like game, if you made a game where like it makes you feel connected to other people
Yes, the
in a meaningful way, outside of shooting brown folks, that's gonna probably do well, you know?
That's why Split Fiction and its prequel I'm looking at now. Split Fiction. You know the game, the co-op game Split Fiction, and I forgot
Actually, I
the
don't.
other.
Please enlighten me.
It's the sequel to I forgot the game where you played as a husband and the wife. The kid wished the parents their kids were good parents were going to get a divorce. Kid wished that the parents would not. So then the parents were real shrunk and stuck together, and they're doing hijinks as little fucking people in a giant fucking yard or whatever.
Oh, no, because, I have problems with, like, the "You've been shrunk too tiny" games,
Um,
and it's very clear what the problem is when you think about it. Like, I wish I could play them because there's some really good ones, like Grounded.
Split Fiction's fine. It's just two people and running through an imaginary like worlds. Like Split Fiction is fine if you want to play like one of those co-op games. Split Fiction's fine. There's nothing small or big. You're playing as two writers, I believe, who are living in the VR representation of their worlds, trying to prevent a corporation from stealing their world for AI usage.
That's funny.
Right. So you're like in a VR version of your own worlds. It Takes Two. That was it. A Way Out, where you play as the two brothers in prison, and then It Takes Two is the other game where you play as the parents and they have to save their daughter by doing hijinks. Um, those games are really popular because they connect people, but not in a monetized way. It's not like we're not going to connect you with your friends and force you all to deal with FOMO. You know what I mean? Like we're just going to connect you with your homie, and then that's going to be that. A wholesome version of Army of Two, if you will, the spiritual descendant of Army of Two, where you can touch butt cheeks, but you can save your child, or preserve your IP, or break out of prison with your brother, but without killing everyone. Again, it's not being your best selves. So it's interesting that you've said that. It actually, like I said, it's full circle to the point where I am going to wrap the show. Like, I am going to call it, because the thing I said in the beginning, you brought it all the way back to the ultimate cost of corporations not being granular about their art. It's fields of Mistria. I fucking grown as a person. We've learned critical lessons. Corporations have learned nothing, but that is okay. That is every single day. All you can do is try to grow yourself as an individual. And I feel like I have. And now I understand how I'm thinking about this. All those games that are really popular are speaking to an audience that the corporations have generally missed because they're too busy trying to make money off of art, which you can't. You need to track the art and then allow the art to happen. And if you catch it in real time, then you'll make some money. But then you have to make it cheap enough for everyone to sell it to everyone, so everyone can feel something. Because then if you make it cost prohibitive, then not everyone's going to be able to afford to feel something. So then they're not gonna. So on and so forth. Corporations are a blight on the art form of gaming. We already knew that.
but now, I've brought
Further understanding of, and it's
to
good.
my
It's good.
thesis.
It's great. No, it's a really important part, because I didn't realize how much I had been in defense mode because of the culture war. You know what I mean? Like, because it's who is grieving, who is feeling what, and then um who is allowed to under that, and what stories can we tell, and whose grief do we want to see. So even if you're a grieving bigot, you're still a bigot, so then you're going to turn on something that's about somebody else's grief that you don't believe is human, which is a whole other portion of the dissertation. And
Yeah, like how, like, if these people are allowed to grieve, then they're people and they can't be people.
right, this is something like South of Midnight, for example, where I noticed that even in the well-meaning, trying people trying to be thoughtful reviews of it, they did not connect with the story, because the story is about black grief and loss. And if you don't consider that black people are human beings, even a little, the story of South of Midnight is hard to process. All
Yes.
right. Yes. So, all right, you've got me.
And,
You've got me
or
thinking.
in a poor rural area that, doesn't that like this. I believe, South of Midnight really, really hit some of them folks who got like hit by the hurricanes and the floods.
Mm-hmm.
Not even just Katrina, but like, folks who just got hit, who had gotten hit more recently in Asheville.
Mm-hmm.
That area, that entire area gets constantly plagued by storms and has poor infrastructure. And, the rural communities don't get shit from the state. And they're, even, and yes, those are like predominantly like black areas, but like white folks be living there too. I was reading a lot of research on sanitation, because I was researching about the lack of clean water in both rural and urban areas. It's not great. The numbers are the same. Think about that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Um and like we don't relate to people in these areas either. As a matter of fact, a lot of folks just want to throw them away because they voted a certain, like,
Yeah.
folks voted a certain way, even though that's not the whole state. A state's not like, the government's not the people.
Right. Yeah.
And, so like I've been thinking about this a lot, about how much we dehumanize as a coping mechanism, for better or for worse. And I actually feel like dehumanization is one of the worst things that we do as human beings. Like truly one of the worst things, because even if you're trying to like um even if you're doing it to somebody who's a terrible person, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're removing them from that action. You're making it a one off. You're making them the exception, and it also removes them from accountability.
Right. Yeah, I see it.
So, yeah, I'm so like and we're doing it like you're saying with with the grieving. Like grieving is one of another very human thing that we do, and we try to like ignore it.
Oh, that's why the culture war is so sharp in some of these games, because then everyone shouldn't be allowed to grieve because you've dehumanized these people that are popping up in your game about grief.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
You picked up what I was trying to say. I'm so glad you understand what happens when my brain gets addled.
I've known you for several hundred years. It's fine. There's no reason for us to be here if I'm not picking up what you're trying to say. So I got it. But that's it. That's it. We will touch on this later, actually, because this is actually this is an interesting permanent topic about that. Like I said, because you spend so much time defending yourself that you sometimes you miss the topography a little bit. You know what I mean? You don't catch the weather patterns. You don't catch the lay of the land. You're just too busy dodging arrows and swinging clubs at racists. And it becomes all you do. So yeah, no, this is very a perpetually important nuance, and we're gonna leave it at that. We did it today, god damn it, we did it today. And I will call it here. And that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Thank you guys for listening, and have a pleasant day.
Go ahead,